is truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative is the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
What up with it? What up with it? What up? How you guys doing? I'm just making sure I can see everything. How you guys doing? What's happening? Let's see. Oh, y'all ain't even there yet. So what's going on? This is Ty. Chilling, just trying to get everything together. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, August 13th. August 13th. And there's a lot going on. Jordan is, he should be back tomorrow. He's here, but he's getting the business proposal together. And he's getting, he's still a little sick, but he's a little better though. He's just getting the business proposal together. I think it's due by Thursday. So he's trying to figure that out. So y'all got me today. And let's see who we got with us today. We got the usual suspects. What's happening? What's happening, Cheryl? How you doing? Living dangerous for sure. Henry, how you doing, bro? Fireside chat, what's going on? How you guys doing? So remember, hit the like button. Hit the like button. The more likes we have, the more people can see the video. So you guys smash that like button. And right now we are at 674 members. So you guys know how we fuel this independent media is through membership. So if you guys, you can join Status Coup for as low as $5 a month, $10 a month. Matter of fact, let me go to statuscoup.com so you guys can see it. Status Coup/join. Let's see. I ain't been on the Status Coup page in a minute. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Status Coup/join. Come on. How can we join? Okay, perfect. So you guys we can all join the media revolution for $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, or annual $174. You guys, like Jordan said, you'll get bonus content. You when we're out on the field, we do a lot of behind the scenes, so you get some of that. What we're going to start doing as well is we're going to start like having debriefs of certain interviews and events that we have. Me and Jordan are just going to kind of like come together and shoot like a debrief, and that'll be for members, just how we thought about it and how we felt about the information and what happened in the interview. Just kind of our thoughts, kind of debriefing how we felt about it. Different, like when we go to debates, when we go to campaign rallies, same thing, debriefs where we're going to kind of get us candid, well, Jordan already cursed, but like just us being a little more candid than we are here. That'll be for members. In addition to that, seeing us as we're driving, as we arguing. We was just arguing this morning for like 40 minutes because I was at the gym. And Jordan was like, I need this video. Where you at? I'm like, I'm at the gym, dog. He's like, why are you at the gym? I'm like, because I'm trying to lose weight. What you mean, why I'm at the gym? Why would anybody be at the gym? And he got upset because I got sarcastic with him. But anyway, things like that. We're going to get that type of footage to you guys so you guys can see. Like I said, it's $5 a month, $10 a month, become a member. We want to continue to stay independent and continue to not to be dictated by anybody, by any, like Jordan said, plutocrats. I don't even know what that word means, to keep it a note. But so we would love for you guys to join us. Like I said, right now we are like button, smash, subscribe. Right now, we are at 6,245 members. So you guys can follow us on Status Coup, on Twitter, on Facebook. We live on Facebook. What's up to the Facebook people right now? What's going on? We're live on, let me see how to Facebook. We're live on Instagram right now. We're live on Periscope. And we are live on Twitter and YouTube. So let me go Status Coup. Status Coup. Let's see how many people are on our YouTube page right now. So on our Facebook page. So Facebook cracking. We got three whole people following us on Facebook. I mean, watching us on Facebook right now. We got Jerry Ross. What's happening, player? I ain't seen Jerry in a minute. What's up, player? Wow, for watching. Hey, Jerry, don't be a hater, pimp. You go on YouTube, you'll see way more than that. Sunday, we had over 1,000 people watching, so you got to keep up, man. Keep up with it. We'll get it. See, I think the issue with Facebook is that we haven't been going live on Facebook that much. So now we start. Since I'm here, I know how to navigate it for us to be able to go live and for the people on Facebook to see the graphics and everything. So now we are going to be going live. Jerry Ross. Jerry Ross has been a long time. Jordan calls him a troll. I think he's cool. He's always been solid with me. He's been a long time follower when we was at the Young Turks and now while we're here. So what's up to Jerry Ross and everyone else on Facebook and everyone on YouTube. So we're gonna get started with a little journalism. Says we got 16 away from 700. Okay, so we're 16 members away from 700 members. This is Jordan texting me while he's in the shower and listening and everything. So let's get to it. We're first off, you know, we had a lot going on in the news. Obviously, you guys know about Epstein. We're not gonna really talk about that. I forgot to change the thumbnail. But what we're gonna talk about is how they've been treating Bernie. I don't know if you guys been watching the news today, but they've been talking a lot about how Bernie is acting like Trump because he's getting at the Washington Post about, you know, talking shit. They talking bad. He feels that this is something that Jeff Bezos is kind of pushing forward. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really think that that's it. It could be. I just think that they got a lot of people at. I think it's way more simpler than that. I think they just have a lot of people at the Washington Post that are for the mainstream media. I don't know if you guys, I'm getting a little distracted. I don't know if you guys been watching the news today, but they have like footage of the Dayton, Ohio shooter, like him from the time he leave the club and go to his car, get the stuff, and then start shooting. It's actually amazing to see. And it's actually, I mean, this will probably be the one time on earth with an F that I'll shout out the police unless they do this again. But for real, if it wasn't for the police getting him, they got him right at the door. You see it on the video. It's almost amazing. They got him right at the door before he walked in. They said there were people from shoulder to shoulder crowded in there. You can only imagine how many people he could have killed if them police officers didn't act in the manner that they did and on point. They wasn't worried. Honestly, I'm gonna just keep it a note. How police officers are supposed to act. They're not worried about themselves. They're not worried about living. They worried about protecting people, and they put themselves in harm's way to do that. So I right is right, wrong is wrong, truth is truth, and I ain't never been a hater like that, where I'm gonna just hate somebody if I believe something else. And they went in. I think it was 4 of them. Instantly went in and got him. Literally, he was at the door where he fell to the ground, at the door, and he tried to lightweight crawl in, and he was at the door. And thank God that he was such a deranged person and wanted to kill so many people that he started shooting before he got inside the club. Because if he didn't start shooting before he got inside the club and waited till he got inside the club, he probably would have killed way more people. But because he started outside the club, that he wasn't allowed to get in. Like, they did a really good job. They did what, if you look at the LAPD on their on the side of the cars, it says in quotations, "to protect and serve," as if they're being sarcastic, right? But these guys in Dayton, Ohio, was protecting and serving. They put themselves in harm's way. That's what they signed up for, that I may not make it home if someone else's life in danger. And I can't do nothing but shout that out. And so that's appreciated, and good looking out for them. They did their job. They did what they signed up for, and they made it home. And because of their bravery, a lot more people was allowed to make it home that night, and there wasn't more tragedies than it were. So, shout out whoever needs to be shouted out. So I salute them for sure. I don't like police at all, but you know what I'm saying? I'll shout out when they do something right, and they did something right, and they did a good job. They did what they were supposed to do, what they signed up for. So that's good, and I appreciate that. If you guys get a chance, watch it, because they did a really good job. They went toward the shooting. They didn't run away. They didn't hide behind a brick wall like at Parkland. They went toward the shooting, and you know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. So I appreciate that, and I can salute that for sure. Even though I don't like the police at all, FTP all day. But you did your job. You did what you signed up to do, and that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but on everything, not playing, I appreciate it, because if you see it, you'll see how brave it was for them to do what they did. Like, the dude had over 200 rounds, I think, on him, and he could have easily clipped off a couple of them, and they just went toward it. So, you can only shout that out. But anyway, I digress. So remember, you guys, this is super chat. So if you're feeling super, I'm out here. Like I said, I'm getting used to it. So the more I do lives, the more I have more to talk about, the more I start watching films. Because you guys know that I was I was kind of consumed with the Flint documentary. And so I had to start watching news. So I was just literally trying to get like a year worth of work done in like a few months. So we ended up getting it done. But now I'm back in the saddle. So anyway, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is upset with the Washington Post because the Washington Post is getting at him. In 2016 there was an article. It's called "Fair: Challenging Media Bias Since 1986." The website is called fair.org, and it investigates media bias and see where media is kind of targeting somebody, or media is looking out for somebody, giving them free cut, like unbeknownst to them, I guess CNN, MSNBC, and I think Fox was going to do it regardless. In 2016, they would just sit there and have Trump's panel empty for hours, just waiting on Trump to get there. You know what I'm saying? So they were getting him all kind of unfair coverage. So what the fair.org, what they seen is that in 2016 there were 16 unfair negative. Let me see what it says. It says, in what has to be some kind of record, the Washington Post ran 16 negative stories on Bernie Sanders in 16 hours. God damn, I don't know, 16 hours. But no, it says 16. I'm reading from the article. Huh? Is fair.org wrong? Oh, I'm just reading. I'm reading the words. Should I not read the words? Okay, so Jordan likes to chime in. If you wanted to chime in, he'd be in front of this camera talking to y'all, right? Tell him something. So anyway, in what seems to be a kind of record, the Washington Post ran 16 negative stories on Bernie Sanders in 16 hours between roughly 10:20 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, March 6th to 3:54 p.m. Eastern Monday, March 7th. So maybe he thought 24 hours because it was 2 days, but it's actually 16 hours. A window that includes a critical Democratic debate in Flint, Michigan, and the next morning's spin. So these are some of the headlines that Washington Post. This is WashingtonPost.com. This is the online website. Some of the I should be showing y'all that. I'm tripping. My bad. See, this is what happens when you're doing both. You gotta make it happen. So this is the article I'm reading from right here, and let me see. So let's see. March 6th, 10:20 p.m. Bernie Sanders pledges the U.S. won't be number one in incarceration. He'll need to release lots of criminals. So that's negative, right? They just want black people to stay in jail. March 7th. All right. Okay. This is all March 7th. At 12:39 a.m., Clinton is running for president. Sanders is doing something else. Interesting. At 4:04, this is huge. Trump, Sanders both using same catchphrases. Interesting. That is interesting. I got a video to show y'all. That's interesting. Because they try to first off, we all know that lightweight, you can kind of say that in 2016, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump kind of had the, Trump ran as a populist, free Medicare, making sure that the veterans get what they need, lower tuition in college, like everything that he was running on, ending TTP, it was all a populist message. Obviously, he was lying, draining the swamp. He didn't drain the swamp. He's still in the swamp. He's married to the swamp. The swamp is his partners, but that's what he ran on. So if they're both populist and they will run on the same message, but then they try to use that to manipulate it. Trump was just lying. He was looking at the temperature of the nation. He had Roger Stone on his team, and Roger Stone knows how to win an election. The proof's in the pudding. He was on Nixon's Nixon's campaign team. He was on Reagan's campaign team. He was on I think the first HW. I think he was on his campaign as well. He was then when Trump first act like he was going to run, I think in 2000 or whatever, he spearheaded that. And then he was on Trump's campaign at the beginning in 2015 when he first started this campaign. So you know that Roger Stone knows how to flip something. So obviously they can be saying some of the same things because you got one that's lying, trying to be a populist, and you got one that's telling the truth. And the proof is in the pudding. He's been doing this his entire career, over 30 years, right? So at 4:49 a.m., mental health patients to Bernie Sanders. Don't compare. Oh, let me see. Mental health patients to Bernie Sanders. Mental health patients to Bernie Sanders. Don't compare us to the GOP candidates. At 6 a.m. Excuse me. Here we go, y'all. This is a rare thing.
I'm headed out.
Duck your head a little bit.
Just so you know, for the last 2.5 days, I've been working on something that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy.
What's that?
Financial projections. We have a deadline, we have a business plan, we have some interested parties in the business.
Yeah.
Progressive folk, not the terrible plutocrats, not the Democratic Party donors, the Republican Party donors, but actual progressive, good people that are interested in our business. And unfortunately, I failed math in 11th grade. So
no, he double failed math.
I'm having to do financial projections. Colin is helping. Jen is helping.
He had me so irritated last night, asking me the same question. We didn't have this conversation about the modems 50 times.
I'm also on.
You always blame it on the medication.
I'm also on steroids that my doctor gave me for my back. Not anabolic steroids, but steroids to help the swelling in my back going down. And I don't know if you've ever taken this drug, prednisone, but it's making my brain mega loopy. So anyway, point is, I might be off tomorrow because our deadline is Thursday. If I can finish before then, I'll be back. But Ty is doing a good job. Right. Remember, smash that like button. He doesn't push this as much as he needs to.
Hit the like button.
It's the thumbs up button right under the video.
Hong Kong is wilding.
Yeah, Hong Kong is wild. The more people that like, the more people that will see this. And Ty has been working very hard on, this is the temporary green screen backup. We're going to have a custom graphic soon and some other things. So help him out. This is a super chat. If you like Ty, he's filling in, and he's about to give you the skinny.
CBD instead. Somebody said CBD.
I'm using CBD too. I'm all on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you. Enjoy. Where you about to go?
And 16 members from 700.
16 members. I think we can get that today. 16 members. Hey, look. Like I told y'all earlier, 16 members. This is exactly what we do. We're trying to build a media revolution, and we don't want that media revolution to be independent of you. We want to be dependent on you. We want to be interdependent. We want to depend on each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't want you to 10 years from now, 5 years from now, regret. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have to give or do whatever. Ain't nobody doing that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you want to make sure that the things that you believe in, you put your foot forward. You know what I mean? Like I was talking about earlier when we were talking about gun legislation and things that people should be willing to die for. Like, I think everyone should always be willing to die for something that's bigger than themselves, you know. And people do it probably without knowing. Like, I know the majority of people that have children are willing to die for their children, period. They'll step like the lady that shielded her 2-month-old baby. Excuse me. 2-month-old baby that shielded her 2-month-old baby from getting killed. You know what I'm saying? That's just a natural instinct that humans have to protect their children. So you always want something bigger than you to die for, or to live for. To die for. And so a better country, a country where your children don't have to grow up worrying about, if I go to school, will I make it home? Like, wow, like, think about that. That's crazy. I'm just thinking about that right now, right? Because black people have dealt with that their entire life. Most black people that's grown up in certain areas that had low resources, no jobs, and there's a lot of crime because of the lack of resources. A lot of the parents, my mother used to do this on everything I love. My mother used to, every morning, she would take like virgin oil and she would like put a cross on our head and pray for us before we walked out the house. I have 8 brothers, including myself. 8 brothers. Myself count makes 9. 8 brothers and sisters, 3 boys and 6 girls. And everyone is still alive to this day. I got 2 brothers that's doing life in jail, but everyone's still alive. And I think it's because of that. Like, she would pray for us every morning. We would not get out the house. I'll tell y'all a quick story. Back in the day, my mother got real religious. So my mother, back in the day, she used to be a prostitute, and then she got like real religious, and since she became like really into churches, that's why she was praying for us all the time. So she would pray for my father too. My father, like, he had a drug problem, he used to do heroin, and so he didn't like that. He didn't like that yada yada. He thought it was like, he ain't like it. So she was trying to pray for him this one day. He was about to leave. She was trying to pray for him, and he was like, nah. And she like made him stay, and she prayed for him, right? He left. He went to his sister, my auntie's job, and I think he owed her some money. So he went to drop off the money. Then him and one of his friends got high. And they got high in the parking lot in the car. He wakes up, his friend, white guy, he wakes up, his friend is in the passenger seat dead. I swear to God, in the passenger seat dead. In my aunt's job parking lot. My aunt used to work for the unemployment office in Compton. Found him dead. He wakes up and his friend, like, he comes up. I guess when you do heroin, you pass out and then you come back up. I ain't never did heroin. But he would be in the bathroom a lot. I would know that. I didn't know until I was older what it was, but he would like be in the bathroom like hella long sometimes. And it was that. I found out. But he died. His friend died, laid next to him dead, right? So I think he had to end up leaving because they would have probably tried to charge him. Back in the day, they used to do that. Like, if you got caught, somebody had an overdose, they'll try to charge you for that murder. But this guy died, and after that, my father was like, "You can pray for me anytime." You know what I'm saying? He told me this story, and from that point on, she always prayed for him. You know what I'm saying? So my mother used to do that to her kids as well, and so I think that's why nothing has ever happened to us. But when you're in those type of environments, that's what a parent worry about. Like, damn, is my kid going to make it home? You know, I told you the story about the first death of a friend was like when I was in the 3rd grade. It wasn't a murder, but he got hit by a car on the way to school. Like, that's just something that a parent don't. And parents think like you. Think about Chicago, the story, the Making a Killing, Guns, Greed, and NRA. If you guys enjoyed that, watch it. Brave New Films. And Brave New Films, they really appreciated the love that y'all been giving them. Robert sent me an email. But think about the parents in Chicago that from the time that they separate from their kids, they have this anxiety, hoping, just like waiting until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock come where they see their child's face and know that their child is safe. This is a thing that black people have been dealing with a long time. And now the country has that anxiety. That's the thing that I was trying to point out, the worry about it. You know what? I'm getting caught up on that because I actually want to talk about that, but in a minute. So anyway, I'll get back on that because I actually want to I'm going to talk about why there's not going to be any new gun legislation unless we get Bernie Sanders in. But anyway, Bernie Sanders is upset, and rightfully so. So let's go back to the Washington Post. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. This did happen. He ain't making this up. You know, I kind of feel that maybe I don't think it's that. I'll tell you what I think in a minute. But so at 6 o'clock, excuse me, I'm talking Bernie Sanders shuts down Hillary Clinton repeatedly. Yeah, shut her down. He should have, personally, he shouldn't even been like, forget the damn emails. No, he should have brought up those emails. What you talking about? You know what type of character she got? You should have let her, if you didn't want to say nothing about it, don't try to protect her. Let that ride. Let her deal with her mess. That's what he should have did, for real. 8:45. Oh shoot, I'm still, I didn't even show you, I'm sorry. 8:45. 8:44. Bernie Sanders says white people don't know what it's like to live in the ghetto. About that. 11:49. The NRA just praised Bernie Sanders and did him no favors in doing so. So you look at all this. I ain't gonna go through all of it, but you see all 11:49, 12:55, 1:08, 1:44, 2:16, 3:31. And 3:54 p.m. All these 16 in how many hours they say? In 16 hours. 16 hours. You got in 16 hours you got 16 stories, right? I mean, who wouldn't feel paranoid about that? I would feel paranoid. I would think something. I'm insecure enough to be like, oh, they trying to target me. And anybody that think that 16 stories, it ain't nothing else to talk about, and you doing 6, so it makes sense to me that you would think, after I pressured Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, to pay his workers more money, that he would then target me. It seemed right. I honestly don't think that's it. I honestly feel that Washington Post just have a lot of people that work for them that's a part of the establishment. They don't want to see him in office. Just like the people on CNN, the people on MSNBC. You see how they talk about him. I think it's that simple. I don't think that, and Jeff Bezos, he may like say, hey, go on, but I'm gonna show y'all some clips. Like, it's not past them, and it's definitely not past CNN. I guarantee what CNN does, what MSNBC does, those are marching orders. They try to act like it ain't. I'm gonna show y'all a clip where they seem so, oh, I can't believe Bernie Sanders said this, and why would he say that? Oh, he sounds like Trump. What? Or you see? Oh, did you remember in the debates he brought up that there's going to be a Medicare commercial? He got upset. I'm gonna get to that, but let me show you this clip, and then y'all tell me what you, and then we'll talk about it in a minute. But this is Poppy gets on my nerve. I like Cuomo. Did y'all see that tweet? Hey, Cuomo got way more respect for me on everything. I love that. Just don't let nobody disrespect you. Don't let nobody try to play with you. Don't play with me, homie. I'll test your chin. That's how he felt. I think he exaggerated with the whole, that's like the N-word to us, but I know what he was doing. See, me and Jordan had a debate on this the other day. He said that's like saying the N-word. If you guys don't know, I'll just let you know. So somebody was recording why Chris Cuomo got into a yelling match and got up in somebody's face. It looked like it was a Trump supporter. Somebody confronted him. He called him the Godfather, Fredo. The name for the guy, and you know Cuomo is Italian, and so obviously he trying to play. That's really like somebody calling me Jerome. You know, I get it. It ain't like the N word, but I think he used that because he had to because he worked for CNN. He had to justify blowing up like that because he blew up. It makes sense to me that he gonna exaggerate the meaning of it because it wasn't really that It was like he was trying to play him, like, you ain't gonna play me, player. You ain't gonna play me right here. You think, nigga, don't let this CNN, me on CNN fool you, homie. I'll test your jaw right now. And I think that's what he was trying to do. I think he knew that he worked for CNN and like they're gonna be probably questioning him. So I'ma say that mean that much to me. But I think more of anything, he saw this dude trying to play me. You thought that was my name. You know who I am. That's why you approached me, punk. Don't play like that. So I appreciate him getting in his face. Don't let people play you. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't come at me. You call me Jerome, we're going to have an issue. For real. You know what I'm saying? He called him, he know his name. Don't play with me, man. For real, don't play with me. So, I love him for it. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one I really watch on CNN anyway. You know, even though it's a lot of things I don't, but he's at least, I can deal with him, period. I'll just say that. Poppy, I don't feel her too much. I think she's way too establishment. But this other lady, I'm gonna show y'all a video of her. I kind of like her because I think she's more empathetic. But here go Poppy talking some BS about Bernie Sanders and what they can't believe. Bernie Sanders, like what? Like were y'all rooting for Bernie? Did y'all want Bernie to win? Were y'all on Bernie team? Y'all can't believe it for real? All right, here you go.
This is surprising to me, at least. Senator Bernie Sanders is going after the Washington Post this morning, specifically their coverage of his campaign. The newspaper is not taking it. Listen to the criticism levied by Sanders just yesterday in New Hampshire.
Anybody here know how much Amazon paid in taxes last year? Yeah. So, I talk about all of the time, and then I wonder why the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, doesn't write particularly good articles about me. I don't know why.
Well, those and past comments by Sanders and his campaign prompted this reply by Marty Barron, the executive editor of the Post. Quote, Senator Sanders is a member of a large club of politicians of every ideology who complain about their coverage. Contrary to the conspiracy theory the senator seems to favor, Jeff Bezos allows our newsroom to operate in full independence, and our reporters and editors can attest to that. Dana Bash, our chief political correspondent, is here with me. Krista Liza, CNN politics reporter and editor-at-large, is here. So Liza, I remember Nixon in the White House on the phone saying, no more reporters from the Washington Post.
Let's be clear, you read about it and heard about it. You weren't there.
I wasn't there. But I am old enough to have watched it.
There you go.
Thanks, Dana, making me feel young this morning.
You're welcome.
But Liza, in not a joking manner here, you worked there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very serious claim against the Washington Post with no evidence, and it is echoing what the president says.
Yep, it's a ridiculous claim. If you condemn Donald Trump for saying the Amazon Washington Post, you need to condemn Bernie Sanders for basically saying the exact same thing. Couple of facts. One, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos also owns Amazon. Amazon does not own the Washington Post, just as a sort of a logistical matter. Secondly, I worked there for 7 years under Don Graham and the Graham family when they owned it, and I worked there for another 3 or 4 years when Jeff Bezos bought it from the Grahams. Not once in that time, literally not one time, and I wrote about politics every single day the way that I do here, not one time did I ever get a whiff of Jeff Bezos in any way, shape, or form trying to or being effective in. There was no attempt to influence, and I can tell you, because for a lot of that time, Marty Barron was the editor while I was there, Marty just wouldn't stand for it. It's the kind of thing that's a good applause line, but it doesn't have any bearing in reality, and it's dangerous because people who don't know better believe it.
Exactly.
Dan, I was just going to say, they're not just going after the Washington Post. I mean, Faz Shakir, his campaign manager, was on with Brian Stelter a few weeks ago and pointed to pharmaceutical commercials that run on TV networks, implying that impacts our coverage.
Bernie Sanders did that during our debate.
I remember,
Did it during our debate. And again, just to put some facts with this rhetoric, I don't know about you, I don't have a clue what the commercials are on this, and nor do I hear about it from anybody in the network. It's irrelevant to what we cover and how we cover it and what we decide to cover. Full stop. And what is so dangerous, to pick up on that important word that Chris just used, is that there is already an attack on all institutions. There is an attack on the institution of the free press by the President of the United States. And the fact that Bernie Sanders is doing it to get frankly, some cheap applause lines, is dangerous and a little bit surprising that this is the tack that he's using.
I'm very surprised.
He gets a lot of, he gets a lot of fair coverage on this network and others.
Well, and by the way, guess who also writes critical stories, Liza, about Amazon? The Washington Post.
Of course. And I mean, it's surprising, just to add to Dana's point, it's surprising, and I'd say it's disappointing. Bernie Sanders knows better, right? In the same way that Donald Trump does. They understand that these are not people who have never dealt with the media prior to the last 6 months when they decided to run for president. In both cases, they have a long record of having to deal with the media. Sanders has been in public life for a long time. Donald Trump has been not in elected office, but in national spotlight for a long time. They know the deal. They know that the media, they know that Dana, you know what I'm doing in the commercials? Trying to make sure that I can hear Poppy and that my glasses aren't so dirty that I can see the camera. I mean, the idea that...
And taking
that
trash talk from me.
Right. The idea that this stuff, they know, that's what bothers me. These politicians know better. And unfortunately, many of the
I hope I didn't cut out that too early. But that's the gist of it. You kind of see. So first off, I just want to kind of break this down a little bit. First, old boy, so I don't even know, Eliza, I think that's his name, says, there's a difference. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm just get this back up. Eliza says, there is a difference. Oh, let me shout out somebody. Oh, somebody just left $5. I forgot. A couple of people left $5. Thank you for the super chat. Continue to super chat. Remember, hit the like button. Right now we have 261 people watching. We have 194 likes. Hit that like button. Hit that like button so we can get the viewership up and people can check out the video. And but anyway, Alyssa, he made a statement. He made a statement, Jeff Bezos bought Washington Post, not Amazon. What in the F does that mean? What does that mean? Tell me, what does that mean? Period. Please help me understand. Make it make sense, because it sounds stupid. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. Amazon is a corporation, but Jeff Bezos the owner. If I'm pressing somebody, if somebody owns a house and they own it with their wife and they own it with their maybe their two brothers or something, they went in and they own the house, and I get at the husband and I talk stuff to him, and he owns maybe the liquor store down the street. He couldn't tell the liquor store down the street, hey, this dude was talking mess to me. Don't allow him in the liquor store. What does that mean? Because 5 people over here own this one thing, and Jeff Bezos owns that over there. Like, Jeff Bezos don't have influence. I'm not saying that he did it. I honestly don't think it, but I can understand why Bernie Sanders would feel that way. You got 16 stories. It makes sense. It's the people you hiring. The people you hiring got an agenda. And obviously that agenda is to not have Bernie Sanders in the White House. It's to not have Bernie Sanders as the Democratic nominee. It makes sense that he would be paranoid like that, because look how y'all digging in on him. 16 negative stories in 16 hours? Come on, man. That makes perfect sense why somebody would feel that way. What you talking about? This is just like Trump, and he knows better. He knows better what? That if it looked like somebody's targeting me, and I just got through targeting the owner, and it makes sense in my head, I just got through pressing the owner in front of the world, that he needs to do better with how he treats his employees. And then all of a sudden, I have all these negative ads? That makes sense to me. That's logical. That's not irrational. That's logical that anybody would think that. I would think that. You do 2 negative stories. I'm like, he trying to get at me. He owns what's okay. He trying to get at me because I got at him about paying his workers more. It makes sense. Whether he did it or not. He could have. People say that he don't. I can take those people at their word that work there that say that he didn't. And then the lady, Dana Bash, brought up the fact that, and then he brought up, we do pharmaceutical ads as if we know about that. Foolio, you don't have to know about that. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the people that own the corporation that owns CNN. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like y'all are far removed or above getting memos saying this is what we're going to talk about. Because if that's not the case, why, when I watch CNN from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, the breaking news is the same shit that was going on at 8 o'clock in the morning? That don't sound like somebody said, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we talking about. Unless some other news happened. Like y'all act like ain't nothing else going on in the world. We cover a whole lot of stories around the world. There's a whole lot more stories going on that you guys don't cover. Y'all cover the same exact thing in every block. That sounds like a memo. That sounds like somebody saying, this is what we're going to talk about because this is what we want to push forward, because this is what our people, and so we are going to play these commercials and do all that. That makes perfect sense. You know why? And you act like y'all don't have no say in that. Are you stupid? You remember when Trump did that video about the immigrants invading the country, they coming in the caravan, that thing? Guess what? CNN said we ain't running that. So y'all do have a choice on the commercials y'all run and don't run. So don't play games. Period, point blank, like y'all just don't know. You may not know what commercials are going to be played, but you know how the game is run. You know that they cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? If they were really for lowering prescription drugs, if they really believed in that, if they were really for Medicare for all, if they really, which they don't, but if they really believed in that, they really believed in immigrants not being invaders and what those tropes was doing to the country, and they decided not to do it. That's not a part of their agenda. So a part of their agenda is to keep their people making money. Think about it. The corporation, there's some people that own CNN that's a part of the pharmaceutical. I guarantee, I don't know, I'm just talking right now as far as that. I don't know. I don't want to just be saying stuff. But I bet you if you start investigating, because leaders, owners of corporations, people that's a part of corporations, they're not just part of one corporation. They're like this corporation, they're like on the chair of that one. So I guarantee that some of the commercials that's being played on CNN, the people that's on their board are a part of that. And they're like, yes, let's run this. Let's run that. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? This is why you don't want to give me coverage, Bernie Sanders. This is why you pushing people like Kamala Harris, people like Biden, because you do not like my agenda. That messes with your reality. That messes with your corporation. That messes with your money. If I'm saying we're going to have Medicare for all, or we're going to have a single payer where private insurance has no say in it. It's going to be one single payer. Or say we're going to lower the price of prescription drugs so people can afford insulin. That goes against the people that you know, your friends, probably people that you work with. What are you talking about? Don't act brand new. You know what I'm saying? And CNN, there's no way. I guarantee if people had independent thought on CNN, you wouldn't see the same news outside of maybe it being a mass shooting or some real breaking news that'll interrupt that. You wouldn't see 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, all the way to 10 o'clock at night. They got the same story going on, the same thing. They talking about the exact same thing. I'm going to show y'all a little clip from Outfox where, I don't know if you guys ever seen the documentary Outfox. It's a really good documentary. It's about Fox News and how they used to get memos of what they had to talk about. And what they would have to say, and that would go on throughout the day. But it's a clip where one of the anchors that used to work there talked about this a meeting that they had, and this is what he encountered at that meeting. And I guarantee you, 85%. You know, I'm gonna say 85 because I don't know. 85%. I guarantee. They get those memos too. This is what we're gonna talk about. We pushing this today. This is what we rolling with. So y'all know this is what we have going on. So check this out.
Mr. LaCourt, in that first staff meeting that he held, made sure everybody understood one concept really clearly. We were not necessarily there as journalists or broadcasters to serve the viewers. We were there to serve headquarters. What headquarters wanted was what we would give them. That was our job security. Everything was pinned on being able to accomplish that objective. When headquarters called every morning or sent a memo every morning and said, we want to touch on the following issues, we want to cover the following stories, we want to do them in this particular way, our job and our objective then was to execute the plan the way headquarters had instructed us to do it. So we weren't necessarily broadcasting, we were narrowcasting. This was what was explained to us in no uncertain terms. We were there to serve and appease a constituency. That constituency was conservative, perhaps Republican, males. And that was our core viewership. That was the constituency that we were there to serve. Rather than inform or enlighten a general viewership, we were there to reinforce the beliefs of a constituency. That's how it was explained to us. So my job as a journalist changed on that day.
We all
Viewership.
They were there to serve a core constituency. That's what they was there for. That's what they was there to do. It was plain. And if you not sleeping under a rock and you happen to watch CNN, because that's like, even for me, that's all you have outside of us and Jimmy Dore and maybe the Young Turks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what you see. If you look at it, that's all you got to do is look at it. Look at it throughout the day. They talk about the same thing. All of them. There's 5 million stories in this country, and you don't know how many in the world. That's all you want to talk about. That's all pushes you. If the producers are the anchors, if they really had a say, why would they be talking about the exact same thing? The exact same thing. That's an agenda to a certain demographic, to a certain constituency. So don't act like you guys don't know that y'all do that. Don't play us like we stupid. It makes sense that he would feel, it makes sense. Anybody would do that. I would do that. He should do it. Be like, this is what's going on. He doing it for claps and for pray and for, he should, because the media is under attack. Yeah, the media is under attack, not by him, because he gonna say what's real, period. Or how he feels. It's not going to be a lie. He's not going to be making up stuff. Rather, it's a fact or not. If you truly feel that way, then you talk about it. And the proof is in the pudding. It ain't like Trump, where he says, oh, they're going against me because they're laying out what you're doing. They're laying out. This is what you just tweeted, dog. You just told them to go back to their country. You said this. I'm pushing back in your face what you said. So if Bernie Sanders is like, hey, look, they doing this, and it seemed like this. You know what I'm saying? 1 + 1 = 2. And if 1 + 1 = 2, then what adds up to me is that the Washington Post is doing negative stories. Like, y'all don't have nothing else to talk about. In 16 hours, y'all do 16 stories. Come on, man. That sounds more than logical to me. Anything else, you lying. Anything else, you lying. Outside of that, like I said, I can give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just like people, because I'm sure CNN people, they hire people based on what they believe. You get interviewed. Okay, well, what do you have? I had an interview with some people, and it was like, well, what do you believe in? Like, what drives you? What's your passion? And I told them, and because they were asking me to see if it flowed with what they are pushing forward. That's what people do. Period. When they interview you, they want to know, okay, do you have the same mentality as this company, as our platform, as what we're talking about? Do you believe in those things? That's why I think it was Ed, I forgot his name, but remember he got fired from MSNBC because he wanted to show more Bernie? That went against their agenda. He lied to them. That's what they thought. You lied to us. Okay, player, you think you're going to play us? We got you, pimp. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's what they do. So, man, don't act brand new. That will bother me too. And I hate when they do that as if they're fair and what does Fox say? Fair and something. And this is like they got a balance. They ain't got no balance. Y'all go one way, period. One way, period. The Republicans y'all have on there are hella aggressive. I don't want to say they racist or nothing, but they just condone everything Trump does. Like they don't have any singular thought. Like it's just, I'm just following blind. It's like I'm blindly following somebody. Outside of what they do, I got an excuse for everything. That's not news. That's an agenda, player. Okay, oh, you Republican, oh, you think that way? Okay, you got to make sure that you ride that line. You push that line because that's what's going to bring viewers. We need to see y'all argue. You can't let it. And if you don't, guess what? We ain't inviting you over no more. You can't come kick it. You can't come hang out. That's what they do, period, point blank, man. So they acting stupid like, oh, Bernie, y'all don't care about Bernie anyway. I say, Bernie, put your foot on their neck and keep riding, because they ain't gonna like you regardless, because you go against their agenda. You know what I'm saying? They don't live with people. They don't have to walk. They probably do have to walk past people that's homeless. They walk past them and keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? They don't eat dinner with mothers that's worried about their child being killed. They don't eat dinners with people trying to figure out, oh, okay, let me just pay my light bill and I push the gas bill over for 2 weeks so I can buy this insulin or this pain medicine that I need for whatever. They don't deal with those. They don't have those people in their life. They turn their back. They don't want to have to deal with that. That's not a part of their existence. And they keep it out of their circles. Everybody that they deal with are rich and well off and don't have to worry about nothing. So they ain't pushing nothing. That's why they saying the same stories, because they don't know nothing about those stories. They're not even journalists. They don't investigate nothing. They got a talking point and they got a script and they read off their script. That's why when you see Jake Tapper, the things he's saying, like, dog, are you not watching the news? It's evident. Like, why are you asking that dumbass question? That should be irritating me. But that's it. What, you know, that people tripping. Oh, and here go another article that this is Bernie Sanders has emerged as the left's Donald Trump. Okay, this is an 010. Did I want to show that one? I want to show one of them. Bernie Sanders in trouble. Yeah, I'm gonna show this one. This was like a month ago though, but it's still relevant. They trying to like print him as the left Bernie Sanders or whatever. This is the Washington Post as well. And let's see. So it's saying Bernie Sanders has emerged as the Donald Trump of the left. This article is more, they're trying to say he's Teflon. He can't be touched, because they're trying to point out some negative things that happen as if he's Trump, as if he does something that Trump does. It's kind of ridiculous, but this video is cool though.
Times has come close to doing, and that is trying to divide us up, fight back and say, enough. I am going to run for president. That's correct.
What's going to be different this time?
We're going to win. We are going to also launch what I think is unprecedented in modern American history, and that is a grassroots movement, John, to lay the groundwork for transforming the economic and political life of this country. The only way that real change takes place is when millions of people stand up, fight back, and say, enough is enough. We're going to have a government that works for all of us, not just the few. This campaign, John, is a continuation of what we did in 2016. Many of the ideas that I talked about, Medicare for all, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, making public colleges and universities tuition free, all of those ideas, people will say, oh, Bernie, they're so radical, they are extreme. The American people just won't accept those ideas. Well, you know what's happened in over 3 years? All of those ideas and many more are now part of the political mainstream. Bottom line is, the average middle-class family will save money, will spend less money on healthcare, will have more choice, and have broader coverage than is currently the case. I think it is unacceptable and un-American, to be frank with you, that we have a president who is a pathological liar, and it gives me no pleasure to say that, but it's true. We have a president who is a racist, who is a sexist, who is a xenophobe, who is doing what no president in our lifetimes has come close to doing. That is trying to divide us up.
So let's get into it. So you guys see that? Bam. Okay. In politics, in the physics, every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Hence, Senator Bernie Sanders emerged as the Donald Trump of the left. Fundraising and polls show that many Democrats think that the best answer to an angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and a flair for demagoguery is Well, another angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and a flair for demagoguery. It's not difficult to picture a scenario in which Bernie captures the Democratic presidential nomination with the same formula that worked for Trump with the Republicans. First off, the same formula that worked with with Donald Trump is what Bernie Sanders has been pitching since he started in his political career, period, point blank. That's all he's been doing. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, he's adopting something that Trump did. Like he said, in 2015, everything that he was preaching and pointing out, they thought was radical. Now it's the mainstream. Now everybody jumping on board. Now everybody riding. Now everybody's riding the wave. You know why? Because they fake. Because they don't really have it. They just know, where's the wind? Oh, okay, over there. That's where we're going. Let's go, y'all. That's what they doing. Period, point blank. And if anybody try to say anything else, they lying to you. Period. On paper, the independent from Vermont doesn't make sense. Democrats are a party of the youth, and he's 77. They are majority female, and he's a man. They are represented as the emerging multicultural America, and he is white. Statistically, he is the worst option against Trump. Statistically, based on what? What you mean statistically? Based on what? Are we talking based on policy? Statistically, based on what? Based on you thinking that the Democratic Party is a party of what do you call it? Identity politics? Really? You know what I'm saying? Hey, identity is real, for real. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain way. Your life is ran a certain way if you're black in America. Your life is ran a certain way if you're Hispanic in America. Your life is ran a certain way if you're a minority, if you're gay. Like, that's because this is a racist country. It was birthed on that. That's just the birth of our nation. Period, point blank. Love it or leave it. Try it and receive it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The only way we're going to get over it is if we acknowledge it, point it out, and then figure it out. But trying to hide behind it like we just a good country that everyone has freedoms is just not the truth. The Declaration of Independence didn't include black people. Period. So just if you keep it a note, then we can move forward. Without outside of that, then you BSing. So yeah, identity politics is a thing, but we off that. We're not voting for you just because you're a woman, just because you black, just because you whatever. It's your policy, because all of them failed us. Hillary failed us. That's why she didn't become president. Barack, I love Barack to death, and that's why I always preface anything I'm gonna say about Barack was I love him to death, because I do. Because what he did was significant. You know what I'm saying? He did a whole lot for black people and just our identity and our security, like how we felt about ourselves. Oh, now we can be. So it did a lot. So I'm not making that insignificant. Like, I get that, and I love that, and I appreciate him for that, and I love him for that. But there's a whole lot of things that he didn't do, and there's a whole lot of things that he said he was going to do that he did not do. So we off that. We need your policy. I don't care how you look. If you're a woman and what you're saying is what I'm feeling, I'm riding with you. If you black and what you're saying is what I'm feeling, I'm riding with you. If you're not saying what I'm feeling, then I ain't riding with you. And I'm doing everything to make sure you don't get in office. Period, point blank. You go to Chicago right now. We went to Chicago, and the majority of the politicians there in the city of Chicago and South Chicago are black, and they fucking over black people more than anybody. This is from the people in Chicago telling us. You guys go back and look at our coverage when we went to Chicago to those protesters. This is what's coming out their mouth, because they're just a handler for the people that's on top of them. Oh, we're going to put you in, but we need you to push this. That's why ain't nothing changed. We done with that. You got to be about something and consistent. Your word got to mean something. And based on what we know, he's the only one whose word meant something, because he's been who he has been since he got into that. He didn't like, oh, it changed over here, and so I'm rolling over there. He ain't did that. He stayed solid. And that's why it took him 30 years for people to gravitate to where he was, because everything else, it was like, we ain't on that. And he stayed solid, and he stayed true. He had honor. So if y'all can't ride with that, then y'all grew up different. You know what I'm saying? And y'all ain't about that anyway. Y'all with anybody who says something to make you feel good, even though you know they lying. It's like, having an argument with somebody and calling it a fight. A fight is a fight, player. And he fights. Hello? All right. So, where was I? Okay. And NBC News poll this week found that there are more voters with concerns about Sanders, 58%, than there are for former Vice President Joe Biden, 48%, Senator Elizabeth Warren, 53%, and Kamala D. Harris, a former Representative Beto O'Rourke, at 41%. Yet Sanders has both money and momentum and movement. His campaign on Tuesday announced a haul of $18.2 million in the first quarter from 525,000 individual contributors. And that's a good point that they made, because if you listen to CNN or you listen to MSNBC, they're gonna say, oh, the best person to beat Donald Trump is Joe Biden. Joe Biden, and like I said, if you look at them, and they'll tell you that, but if you don't have nobody on the ground showing you, that's why you guys need to become a members and support us. And like I said, $5 a month, $10 a month, become a member, because then we're out there and we'll show you the lies. We'll show you the people on the ground, because he got 1 million volunteers on the ground. He got people out supporting him all the time. Biden, it was a hollowed ground. And the only thing you have to do is go to Status Coup on YouTube and look up Biden Watch Party, Bernie Sanders Watch Party, Tulsi Gabbard's Watch Party. There's a stark difference. We're not just talking. It's right there. Period. And yeah, we made a little joke because it was funny to us. I told Jordan, I was like, let's go to Biden. I mean, we done been to Bernie's and Tulsi. I'm like, let's go to see what the temperature like. They saying he's gonna pop. Let's go over there and see what. I was ready to kind of like. I wanted to go there to keep it a note. I wanted to like, be confrontational, like way in the journalistic way. You know what I'm saying? Where I just wanted to like, because I know Jordan to get in front of him and he'll do it. So I put him in that position, and then he'll make it happen. It's like I give him the alley hoop, right? And then he'll just no. So that's why I wanted to go. But we go there. The people that we even sat next to was more excited about the debate the day before with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren than they were about his. They left hella early. We started, if you look at toward the end of our coverage at Joe Biden's watch party, the debate is still going on. It's damn near empty. At Tulsi Gabbard's watch party in Miami, people waited an hour and a half for her to come. Everybody waited. She came and they all shook her hands, and they waited in a long line to shake her hand, and they stood there the whole time. Bernie Sanders, everybody was there. I didn't even realize how many people was at Bernie Sanders, because the bottom was full. I didn't even know it was the top that was packed as well. And they stayed the entire time, man. But that's because they got enthusiasm. They got people like Joe ain't well, bro. He ain't well, man. Serious. You just got to look at him. He ain't well. He doing bad out here. But they wanted, and I think it's irresponsible for them to try to push him knowing that he's not there. He's getting old. You can see it, how he's talking, how he's fumbling. Something ain't right, man. And it's irresponsible for them to try to push him. I think they want to try to push him because they know if he gets in the office, they can just run their own agenda and have him do it, period. Because he's well, my grandfather was the roughest, coldest, aggressive, non-tolerant person in the world. When he got old, when he started to get dementia, he was like, very pat, do that. Okay. Before a nigga, I'll kill you. He said that to my uncle once. And he was just telling him to walk upstairs. Like, I'm serious. Like, you get that way and then things just kind of shift, man. And I think it's irresponsible for them to be trying to push him when they know he ain't right. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this is a super chat. Y'all feeling super. Who just gave me $4 right here? Let me see who that is so I can shout you out, because I've been kind of missing it a little bit. Just gave that $4. Denise Hartle. Love you, Ty. I love you too, Denise. Appreciate you. Or Denise or Dennis. I'm sorry, dog, or ma'am, but I love you too as well. Appreciate the support. What you guys doing? Newark, hey, I just heard about that DXR, about the water in Newark. They mentioned that a little bit on CNN and how their water is messed up. We probably go try to cover that and see what's going on. That's probably something good that we can take advantage of. Flint equals America. That's for sure, Riley. Somebody put Obama's a disgrace. Obama was a disgrace. I wouldn't go that far, but he could have did a lot more. Let's see what else. What else y'all talk about out here? Vote Bernie in the new daily cost straw poll. The daily cost. What is that? Is that like a Twitter poll, or is that like a regular poll? You know, Twitter polls. I don't know how I feel about Twitter polls because. Shout out to people on Facebook and Periscope. I don't know how I feel about Twitter polls because a lot of time people that follow other people on Twitter, they normally have the same thinking. They kind of think the same. So if you got a person that supports Bernie and they put a poll out, obviously everybody that's following them are going to vote Bernie. And the same thing with Biden. If that person that has 100,000 followers put the poll, more than likely Bernie's going to win just because it's a bias based on who they're following. So I don't know how I feel about those Twitter polls, but what's the cost poll? And anyway, they need to have another polling system. How many people you know got a landline? My mother do. You know how old she is? Aunt Lois is 60-something. She got a landline. Her sister, Aunt Malin, got a landline. Aunt Laverne got a landline. I think Latrice got a landline too, my cousin, but I think she got a landline because she had it like a while ago. She's still in the same house. But ain't nobody else got no landline. And if they're doing polls from landlines, they're dealing with people that's my mother's age, period. So, like I said, follow us, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button, subscribe, all that. Jordan want me to pump it up more. Hit the like button so we can get this video up and get more people watching. I want to move to another story right quick. And this is about guns. And what I want to talk about, I put up some examples to help you understand why nothing's going to happen. And you guys should know, if you've been living in this country, you know nothing's going to happen. But just more evidence of why nothing's going to happen. And it's because there are things that America politicians claim that they care about. Veterans, 9/11 first responders. And you see how they treat them. The BS that they put them through. To just try to get, I sacrificed my life for this country. I lost a leg. I have PTSD. There's no resources for them at all. You got 20 veterans committing suicide a day because politicians won't get them the resources to be able to take care. It ain't killing someone, seeing someone die. It ain't like seeing a roach die or killing a roach. It's not. It lives with you. Period. Especially if it's like the first time you did it, and I would assume for people getting into the Army, I'm assuming that it's their first time doing it. That first time, and you see it and you know it's you, that lives with you. Period. Period. That lives with you for a while. And if you don't know how to cope, if you don't have no mechanism to be able to deal with it, like people on the street, it'll happen and it lives with you. And what happens is you do it more, you do it more, you do it more. You able to learn how to live with it. But it don't leave, period. It doesn't. It doesn't. It gives you PTSD. It gives you anxiety. It make you wake up in cold sweats. If you see somebody die, it's the same effect. You close your eyes, you see it. You close your eyes, you see it. Period. That's PTSD, man. And if no one's addressing that, no one's giving you the resources you need You can go crazy if you're not occupying your mind. That's why a lot of them want to just go back to war so they can like deal with it, get used to maybe killing probably, or just distract their mind. Because it's hard to deal with, man. It ain't like killing a roach. I'm being serious, for real. And they don't have any resources. And these are the people that our government says that they love, that they care about, that every politician campaign under and use, to me, I feel, as a tool. You look at the 9/11 survivors and what they had to do to get the money that they needed. They were there within minutes. We act like we celebrate them all the time, and we put them through BS to get the proper care that they needed because of what happened and what they did and the effects of it. But we claim that we care about them. No, they don't want to give up no money. These corporations don't, these people don't want to pass no legislation that'll give more money because the corporations don't want to do it. And that's who they're in bed with, period. You think they're going to pass legislation now? You think after 26-year-old children were killed and they didn't do anything, that now because it happened 2 times, that something is actually going to happen for real? You think that? All right, well, I got a bridge to sell you. But I'm going to show y'all these, just a couple videos, man. And I think it's like poignant to what I'm talking about and what we're going through. Just to give you more confidence, that to let you know that if y'all don't do nothing, if we don't do anything, we can't leave it up to these politicians. I mean, the 9/11 first responders had to get Jon Stewart to like campaign for them and to fight for them because politicians wanted to take that money away. They didn't want to give it to them. That's crazy. These people risk their life. They got asbestos, whatever, everything that's going on, people getting cancer. We don't know what's going to happen to them 20 years from now, 10 years from now. I mean, they finally got it. I think it's like they got a ruling where Congress has voted to make the fund for 9/11 first responders and victims last another 70 years. It took everything for them to get that. And that's crazy if they're claiming that they care about them. Why did it take all that? That should have been a done deal. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, they don't care, man. And if you happen to be white when they don't care, guess what? They ain't gonna care about you either. Period. When they don't care, they don't care. When they're about their money, they're about their money. You happen to be white, then you'll get the brunt of what black people been dealing with since their existence here. What Hispanics got to deal with. Then you'll feel it. Like those first responders feeling it. They're like, I bet you they were blown. What? What? It's fake love. This country got fake love. They try to manipulate you and make you think you good because you white. No, man. If you get caught in the middle where they don't give a fuck, guess what? They ain't gonna have a fuck to give you either. Period. Don't fall for the hype, player. Don't fall for the hype, homie. Let me pull up these because I want y'all to see this. So the first video is from oh shoot. Oh, the first video is from I posted this on my Instagram the other day. I thought it was good. It talks about the mass shootings, and this guy talked about like it's a guy from MSNBC. I think what he said is solid, though. He's a professor at Princeton, I think. What he said is solid. But he talks about America. We're the only country that lies and try to convince ourselves that we're better than who we are. And that's what allows us to live in this fantasy world and allow all these things to just continue to happen and continue to happen because we believe the hype. But black people don't, because we know we had to deal with the BS. We have to deal with the hypocrisy and the lies of it. We know exactly what it is because we've been the, what do they call it? The benefactors, the beneficiaries of the American lie, for sure, for sure. Let me see. My bad. Okay, I don't want it like this. Just trying to see how I can. Damn. All right, I'm just getting this together. Give me a second. Bam. All right, for sure. Okay. They keep starting without me giving you permission. Stop being hard-headed. All right. Perfect. All right, here we go. Yeet.
it's easy for us to place it all on Donald Trump's shoulders. It's easy for us to place Pittsburgh on his shoulders. It's easy for me to place Charlottesville on his shoulders. It's easy for us to place El Paso on his shoulders. This is us. You know, America's not unique in its sins as a country. We're not unique in our evils, to be honest with you. I think where we may be singular is our refusal to acknowledge them. And the legends and myths we tell about our inherent, goodness to hide and cover and conceal so that we can maintain a kind of willful ignorance that protects our innocence. See, the thing is that when the Tea Party was happening, we were saying, pundits, oh, it's just about economic populism. It's not about race. When people knew, social scientists were already writing that what was driving the Tea Party were anxieties about demographic shifts, that the country was changing, that they were seeing these racially ambiguous babies on Cheerios commercials, that the country wasn't quite feeling like it was a white nation anymore. And people were screaming from the top of their lungs, yo, this is not just simply economic populism. This is the ugly underbelly of the country. See, the thing is this, and I'll say this and I'll take the hit on it. There are communities that have had to bear the brunt of America confronting, white Americans confronting the danger of their innocence. And it happens every generation. So somehow we have to kind of, oh my God, is this who we are? And just again, here's another generation of babies. Think about it, that 2-year-old had his bones broken by 2 parents trying to shield him from being killed. A woman who has been married to this man for as long as I've been on the planet almost, lost her husband. For what? And so what we know is that the country has been playing politics for a long time on this hatred. We know this. So it's easy for us to place it all on Donald Trump's shoulders. It's easy for us to place Pittsburgh on his shoulders. It's easy for me to place Charlottesville on his shoulders. It's easy for us to place El Paso on his shoulders. This is us. And if we're going to get past this, we can't blame it on him. He's a manifestation of the ugliness that's in us. I've had the privilege of growing up in a tradition that didn't believe in the myths and the legends because we had to bear the brunt of them. Either we're going to change, Nicole, or we're going to do this again and again, and babies are going to have to grow up without mothers and fathers, uncles and aunts, friends, while we're trying to convince white folk to finally leave behind a history that will maybe, or embrace a history that might set them free from being white. Finally.
Yep. That's it right there. If we don't learn how to confront who we are as a country, that's why we can't get over racism. You know what I'm saying? If we don't know how to confront our evils, confront what we do and act like we all good, that's why people can just look and see kids crying about their father being snatched up from them because he's an illegal immigrant and then justify why that's okay. That's why we can see people being massacred and shot and justify why that's okay because we have a Second Amendment. Because we're the best country, we're a free country, as if no other countries are free. I was about to do that whole newsroom monologue. I don't know if you ever saw the first season of Newsroom on HBO, when he does that whole monologue. It's amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, you should see it. But this is the hypocrisy. This is the lie. Black people have been doing this since we got here. We ain't never fell for it. That's why a lot of black people back in the day didn't vote. That's why I didn't vote, because we was already at the bottom of the totem pole, and we felt that it ain't gonna. Whatever happens in this country goes up, goes down. Guess what? It won't touch us because we all the way down there to the floor. So as it goes up, it goes down based on what president is in office. We're never affected because we never have the resources. We never have the things that we need to have. We're always in the back. And we feel like no one's been there to represent us. And now, a lot more people than just black people are feeling the hypocrisy, are being confronted with these lies. And they're going to either turn their back and act like it's all good, or they're going to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? The next video I'm going to show is the first responders video. Where let's see if this is it. Okay, I ain't gonna show that video. That's the same. That's kind of the same thing with the gun legislation. All right, let me get up out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. How did Jordan do it? Bam. I think it's this one right here. Oh, that's what's her name crying. I want to show her last though, because it's. Let's see. She kind of touched me with that. What's her name thought it was BS, but I think she was genuine. Man. Where's the all right, let me find that one. I thought I had it. Democracy Now! CNN reporter. I'm upset. I gotta find this one. Cause this is when Jon Stewart was fighting for the first responders. Damn. Let's see. I'm gonna find it though. Word. 9/11 should be right here. Okay, I think this is it right here. Damn, it's 9 minutes. That ain't the one I want though. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna find it. Now this one, is it the Now This? Or is it Democracy Now? Yeah. Sorry, y'all. Give me. Where is it? I just saw it. I thought I put it up. Okay, here it is right here. Bam. All right. And this is the first responders who we celebrate, who we say, oh, we love what you guys did. We're going to be there for you. We'll never forget what you guys did. Never forget 9/11. And this is what they got to go through with our Congress, because our Congress don't want to give them money they need just to make sure that their health is right. They're not getting no welfare checks. They're not asking for nothing. Like, they're just trying to be able to afford the health care that they need for the sacrifice that they made. And they got to get a representative, an actor to come and fight for them, when half of these politicians probably ran on looking out for the first responders in 9/11.
Idea that you can only give them 5 more years of the VCF because you're not quite sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. Well, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. More of these men and women are going to get sick and they are going to die. They responded in 5 seconds. They did their jobs with courage, grace, tenacity, humility. 18 years later, do yours.
Now to a huge victory for 9/11 first responders.
Overwhelmingly passed, 97-2. Survivors cheered, as did their longtime advocate, comedian Jon Stewart.
Beyond my comprehension.
Who fights for American heroes. And here's why.
Why this bill isn't unanimous consent is beyond my comprehension.
Not just for moments like this.
You at the meeting is, are you eating it with a...
He said, 18 years later, do yours. Look, hey, on accident, I got a TYT clip. Isn't that crazy? But look, look, he got to tell them to do theirs. He got to yell at them and say, do yours. This is what I'm saying. I don't care who you are, what color you are. If you're in their way, they don't have any fucks to give you as well. They ran out because for them it's their bottom line. And if it's any type of legislation that's passed that's going to take money away from them, I'm sorry, player. I don't know what to tell you. We took care of you for 10 years. Whatever you got can't be that bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, man. You know, I mean, and then, I mean, it goes all the way down, dog. Like, you got everybody in authority. You got the first responders not getting anything from Congress, right? First responders are firemen and police officers, right? You got police officers not even listening when the black people say, I'm not a criminal, and they're criminalizing them. It's like, and then you got black people saying that gay people, you know, like black, like religious people saying gay people don't deserve rights or they're somehow sinners or whatever because of whatever the Bible say. It's like the victims then become the oppressors. You know what I'm saying? And it always it continues this trickle down until, but because no one's listening, no one's paying attention, no one's seeing that everybody's being played. You're being played. You're so fixated by who you think you are, who you think this world should be, or whatever you think your God wants you to do. Let me tell you this. If you feel God is almighty and God is just amazing and he's this grand force, why would he need your help? Tell me that. If he's that to you, why would he need your help? Why don't he need you to fight for him? Let God do his job. Because it's not about God, it's about you. You're trying to push your own will against people. But see, this is what I'm saying. If we learn how to connect things, we'll understand that we all been played. You know what I'm saying? People used to use the Bible to say black people and white people shouldn't be together, unevenly yoked. That's what that means. They'll grab to continue with segregation. They use verses in the Bible to push that forward. And now you got black people using verses in the Bible to say what they're saying about the LGBT community. You don't get it? This is what I'm saying, man. It's like the oppressed become the oppressors. Now you even get black people like, yeah, Mexicans are taking our job. What are you talking about, dog? I don't get it. Like, you don't see how you being played the same way that this country has played poor whites to think that things may be effed up, but it ain't that bad because you're white, as if being white is better than anything else. And it's them over there. And now we're doing that? Come on, man. This is another clip just about some kids, police brutality. I'm just showing you how the victims become the victim. You got the police want to get their rights from Congress, and at the same time, they're saying they're human. They sacrifice their life, and at the same time, they don't care about what happens to young black men. And the cycle continues and continues.
We are not here because of a shoplifting incident. We are here because we are outraged at the conduct of Phoenix police officers.
My son was the third victim of that police officer. Do you understand that, Chief? The third victim of that police officer.
Real change doesn't start with the police department. Real change starts with our community. We will be back again. We are here to listen. We are here to come back with this community. We are here to make change.
I asked for this community meeting and Chief Williams' presence so that we would have a chance to listen to your thoughts.
I'm not even an adult yet, but right now I'm fearing for my life. And I don't understand why we have a justice system that looks at me and says I'm a weapon. Anything that I have on me is considered a weapon. My hands are a weapon in the police eyes. My blackness is a weapon. When you look at me, what do you see? Am I an animal? A monster? I'm a human being. Are you guys afraid of us? You say you're not afraid of us, right? Obviously. Then where's the police officers that was in that video? Why aren't they here? They're afraid of us. Because they know, as soon as they walk in those doors, what's going to happen to them. Everybody's going to boo because they know what they did was wrong.
I'm begging you on this panel right now to make changes while you still have the power. Because there will come a time when the people will rise up and take the power that they rightfully have.
This is cool and amazing. We get to talk. We get to tell you guys what we finally want and need. Finally, you guys are listening. And don't draw guns at us, please. The little kids are. And don't draw guns at us.
So, you see that? That's why I always say, it don't even matter if the police black, white, if they're trained in a racist system, they're going to be racist. They're going to profile. They're going to look at you as a killer as well. You hear that black lady on there? I'm assuming she was the police chief. How apathetic is that for her response to be, change doesn't start with the police, it starts with the community. When they're there about the police violence. Like, what type of empathy is that? What type of reaction is that? It makes you want to just jump up and do something. It's aggravating, and it just feels like you don't care. What? It starts with, that's your response? Even if that's a real thing, that's your response to me talking about this police officer that killed 3 people? That's what I'm talking about, man. That's the exact thing. And this is why, because no one is connecting it and no one cares. Everybody want to be on their own high horse about whatever they believe. Either they have a blue line, either they have a religious line, either they have a white line, either they have a black line or whatever. An American line. Everybody just, no one's trying to sit back and just let me try to understand you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me not try to sit here and listen to you so I can argue my point, but let me try to like understand where you're coming from. That's been the best thing about me being a journalist and working in journalism, is that when I went to the Midwest, I understood, even though I didn't agree, I can see why they would vote for Trump, because they were manipulated, but it was real for them. Those jobs are really gone, and they don't have answers, and they're looking for it. So someone said it's them taking it. That's all they need to hear, because we all need answers. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I was trying to understand, not saying how could you vote for Trump and this and that, but understand why, get why their grievances are for them. It's real. And instead of me trying to like tell them what they did is wrong and X, Y, Z, I listen to them to empathize, because I can understand. I can empathize. I may not went through exactly what they went through, but I've been in a situation where I felt that I was being wrong and I wanted to know the answer. And I felt like I was so I can use that and connect with them, but no one's trying to do that. And this is why we're going to be in this same situation. And however many months from now, hopefully, and maybe even before then, where we're going to be back here talking about another mass shooting. Because we're going to get over it. Right now, it's dwindling down, but it's a lot more information because they got the videos and stuff out. So they got new stuff. And it's still in the news, which is surprising to me that it's Tuesday, the week after, and it's still in the news. That's honestly, we're very surprising to me. But if they can see children be killed and fight that. I mean, they say, oh, the NRA doesn't have the power that they had, and they had all it. Maybe. Who knows? But what I do know is that we've been here many times, man. We've been here many times, and nothing's changed. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And so I feel like the only way that you can really get change is through us. Any significant change that's ever happened in this country has been through the power of the people. It's never been through politicians. JFK didn't want to deal with the southern states. He had to be pushed, he had to be pressured to do something from people. Martin Luther King had to be strategic in trying to get the media out to cover what Bull Connor, which was the police chief, was sicking dogs and doing water holes. No one had seen that. People had, but you ain't never seen it. He had to be very strategic in getting the media so they can see it. This stuff didn't just happen. And it wasn't just we protest and people cared. No, they still didn't care. It took a while. And this is after he became president, after he pandered to black people. You know what I mean? You guys, if it's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called David and Goliath, and he talks about that. He talks about that whole story with Martin Luther King and what he had to strategically do to make this happen. Like significant change in this country and in any other country. Look at any other revolution. It didn't come from it didn't come from politicians. It didn't come from the elite. It came from the people, man. The people. But you gotta have empathy. You gotta be willing and wanting, and your intention should be to try to connect your pain to someone else's. Because we all felt those things. Different things got us there, but we have all been through something where we can connect to another person. But we refuse to because we feel superior or better than someone else that don't look like us, that don't pray like us, that don't walk like us, whatever, eat the same food we eat. Sometimes it's like that. Like it's like sometimes it's that petty, right? That we just, because our grievance is so great that we don't want to hear nothing. That's why you see Trump reporters, Trump, like literally when we went to Miami and we confronted the Trump supporters, I wanted to see if they really had an argument and wanted to talk, because I think it's way better to talk to someone that don't think like you than talk to people that do think like you. Like, hey, if I'm preaching to the choir, if we all thinking the same, who's thinking? Challenge me. Maybe it's something that I need to understand. I'm with that. Because that's the only way you move forward. If I'm talking to everybody behind me that already believe me, who else is coming? Because I'm yelling and they yelling, who else is coming? But if I can have a conversation, unfortunately, they had nothing. They couldn't talk about nothing. No policy. They knew nothing. They were just blindly following. And I honestly went in thinking that they did have something to talk about. And I'm like, we can have a conversation. Obviously, you guys saw the footage. They had nothing because they're just blindly following. And there's a whole lot of progressives that blindly follow too. That's why you can always see Shapiro or somebody making a fool out of somebody that wasn't diligent enough to research what they believe and just blindly following something because it's the wave or they think it's what's right. If you feel that is what's right and it's what you believe in, find out about it. Understand why you believe that. Like, how can you believe in something, have passion for something? That's why people are always switching and going which way, because if you don't know anything about it, you ain't willing to die for it. You ain't willing to stand for it and die for it. Everybody that marched in those civil rights, they was willing to die because they knew about it. They knew the information. They understood it. In Libya, the same thing. They understood it. They knew about it. You're not willing to die for nothing that you don't care about. You're going to go to wherever the wind is blowing at the time. If progressives are over here thinking this, as soon as progressives go over there and then, we going over here. The ones that's going to stay over there is the ones that know what it's about. And they're going to be consistent like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders believed in what he's talking about. That's why he hasn't changed 30 years. Hillary's changed every 5 years or every 2 years, depending on how the country shifts. Because she's an opportunist. She's not solid. She's not a woman of her word. And these other politicians, Cory Booker, all of them, they don't have integrity. And that's what you need. And that's what we should all be trying to get. And you shouldn't expect nothing from anyone that you wouldn't do yourself. Period. So I'm going to stop preaching because I'll be going off. But this is it. We've been on here for a minute. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I think Jordan probably be here tomorrow. Not sure. But like I said, we trying to get, we're I think 16 subscribers. 16 members away from 700. So if you guys like what we're doing, if this is your first time coming or whatever, you're not a member, really consider it, because like I said, what we're doing. Oh, I'm gonna show y'all a clip from. They just had a protest here in in New York for Michael Brown last 2 days ago or 2 days ago? Friday. They had a protest here, and I wanted to show y'all some footage from that. I don't know if everybody saw it, but I'm gonna show y'all a little footage from that, and then we'll end this. I forgot about that. My bad.
Oh, she pushing it. Oh, look.
So we're in New York right now. It's the 5th anniversary of Mike Brown, who was killed in Ferguson. And they are protesting today. They started at Grand Central Station, and now they're in the street. I just gotta figure out exactly where they are. You got police officers with hella, like they ready to get these people for starting a riot. I want you to see what they got. They got hella things already. So I'm assuming it's over here. So we're gonna see. We're gonna follow the police. Keep an eye on them so they won't get out of line. I'm back enough. I'm media. I'm back enough. See my media pass on? Okay, I can be wherever I want to be unless you're detaining me. Unless you're detaining me. I can walk right here if I want to walk. I know I can. I know my law. I'm walking. He need 5 minutes. Stop. You better watch who you're talking to. Okay, you better watch who you're yelling at. Talk to me with some respect, boy.
I'm not your boy.
Yes, you are my boy. You my boy. You work for me. Yes, you do, punk. What you talking about? No, I ain't the wrong cop. I know who I'm looking at. You punk. They always think the black person. He yelled at me for videotaping. First, he ready to start something. He already upset, ain't nothing happened. Let me keep my eye on him. He ready to kill a black person. You got the wrong. You take off that uniform. I ain't gonna even start talking. How you doing? Thank you for sure. Did you see him? Yeah.
I'm like, you're imposing your power. What do you
For
do
sure.
with that? A police officer from New York City just started threatening you and saying like, oh yeah, you will be in my house, like, and you said, you know, you work for me, and he's like, I don't work for you, and he's, as a city employer, I think he definitely does, and he's misusing his power, which is unacceptable.
For sure. And exactly what started it is that I was filming him and I was walking with him. He was like, 9 feet, and started yelling at me, telling me to be 9 feet. I'm like, you got hella people walking by you. They're not 9 feet. You just mad because I got a camera on you.
What happened, man?
Huh?
What happened?
Oh, they just tripping. They just trying to abuse their power. That's all. It's all good.
Absolutely.
They itching to shoot another black man. That's all. To kill another black man.
And what's really sad is another person of color is hurting another person of color, which is just not. We're perpetuating the same
But that's the thing that I say. Like, it don't matter if you black, white, or whatever. If you're trained under a system that's racist, you're going to be racist because they teach you how to profile.
Yes,
so you're
I
racist
was just
toward
talking that to my
anybody.
boyfriend.
So black cops, white cops, they all do it. They all act exactly the same.
What I was just telling my boyfriend, which was really funny, is that diversity is not going to necessarily fix the problem. It is great. It's good that we're trying to make more, the more representation, different people of color, or different groups that are often disadvantaged or oppressed in positions of power, the better it is. But I think more work needs to be done. Just having those positions of power is not enough because a lot of people are not mentally there. They don't really feel like it's a real issue. They're not woke, I would say, for lack of a better word and terminology. I think lots of training, lots of undoing and dismantling that pain and just internalized oppression that people have needs to be undone.
For sure. Tell me what got you out here today.
I'm on a date with my boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
And what was really powerful is I just came from a gender workshop. I'm a New York City educator. I went to Harvard for a gender workshop, and I was talking to my boyfriend about a lot of things. And when we saw that cop treat you that way, I said, is that necessary? My boyfriend came and he also was like, yeah, like, man, like, you're being a man and you're using your power as a man and as a police officer, a position of power, and abuse it.
For sure.
And using it against our own people. So
Exactly. And he don't even get it.
So me and my boyfriend both spoke on your
I
behalf.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
So I'm gonna try to interview some of the protesters. Look, he almost hit him. He almost hit him. Hey, I got that. I got that, dog. I got that. Yeah. He almost hit you. He almost got some paperwork on him right there. Where are we right now? I'm from LA. I don't know the area. I'm sorry.
We're in Times Square. We're in Times Square right now. And if people are in the Times Square area, we do ask that they come out. Because we're about to enter hostile territory.
Okay. They beating up people. So yeah, that's some of our reporting here in Times Square. They marched from Grand Central Station to Times Square, and it was a Mike Brown 5-year anniversary. And I interviewed a lot of people. You guys can go and check that out on the web, on Status Coup, on our Facebook, on our YouTube page. And the lady was talking about how it's important that not only Ferguson continued to keep the memory alive and what happened, but that every community across the nation continue to make sure that we acknowledge what these killer cops are doing, so that we can make sure that we continue to put pressure, because we don't want this to be like mass shootings and things like that, because it can easily get like that. So you guys can check that out. And we're continuing to do a lot. So I brought that up to say this is the type of journalism that I know you guys want and that we're trying to give you guys. You know what I'm saying? And you can become a member from, like I said, $5, $10, $20 to $179 annually. Yeah, I think it's a good look. It's a good look for getting news that's, I don't want to say unbiased. We progressive. We're biased to the people. We want what's good for the people. So we do have that bias for sure. But we're going to give it to you right. We're going to show you. We're not going to just pontificate and say, oh, Bernie Sanders is it. He's the best one that can win in the Midwest. No, we're going to go to the Midwest and we're going to talk to the people. We're going to show you, look at what's happening with Bernie. Look at what's happening with Biden. The proof's in the pudding. So you guys continue to check us out, continue to support us, and we should be back tomorrow with another live. Until then, you guys keep it real, stay dangerous, keep your foot on these fools' neck, and talk to you later.